Lovely. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. So this class on how yoga relates to connection is about social connection. So I suppose the first thing to consider is how could a practice that is so about going in and focusing on ourselves help with social connection, which is inevitably about relating to other people. And the simple answer is that by promoting mindfulness, the witness, self-reflection, yoga is a really good way to what a famous Descartes teacher Paul Harvey used to call makes you better at living more skillfully. And I've always sort of grabbed onto that. And in the yoga tradition, historically, we see that there are some people who are really dedicated to quite a strict spiritual path. And there are also other people which they call householder yogis who kind of do their practice and raise a family and have jobs and things like that. So even though that was a long time ago and in a different kind of context, it applies today. And it doesn't seem to me to be any point in doing yoga if it doesn't have a benefit to how we live and how we relate to other people and the world. So it makes us, by cultivating that witness, and we do it, every single week very simply by just noticing our breath, noticing the sensations in our bodies, it makes us less reactive and more reflective. So that's really the key to it. And I just wanted to share one other thought on that, which feel free to go and try this in the coming week if you want to. On the training course that I helped to run for yoga teachers who want to teach yoga to NHS patients, they have to hold a discussion group at the end of each class where all the patients get a chance to say how they enjoyed the practice and what they got out of it. And it's a really rich learning experience. But we teach these already expert yoga teachers to use the tool of reflection and listening. And some of you, I'm sure, will come across this, but it's all about developing your own listening skills by really hearing what someone says. So if somebody tells you about say they're having a problem at work or something, if you're in the process of reflection, then what you would do is show that you've heard them by saying, so it sounds like you're having a really difficult time at work, and this has happened and that has happened, and that must be very stressful for you. And by summarizing what they've said to you and then reflecting it back to them, it's incredibly empowering for that person. And the conversation can go on and on like that and become richer and richer. And it's very, very therapeutic for the other person. It develops your listening skills. And it's really at the opposite end of the spectrum to what some people do. And I'm not being sexist. All the studies say it's men who do it more than women, always want to fix other people's problems. So instead of going and saying, oh, you should leave your job, or you should file a complaint, or you should do that. So it's about reflection. And I believe that reflection starts with our bodies, with our breath. And then if we take it out into the world and become more reflective, empathetic, better listeners, that's going to have a really big impact on the people we meet, and our social network will be enriched by it. So that's how I'm coming at social connection tonight. So let us begin by either closing the eyes or just taking the eyes forward and downcast. And if you're sitting in a chair, just sit a little taller, trying to feel as if the head is right over the center of the chest and the chest is over the hips. So there's a feeling of ease and length in your spine, and try and achieve the same if you're sitting on the floor, and if you need to support your hips with a cushion or a yoga block, please feel free to do that. And then with the eyes closed or downcast, just take a moment to reflect on how you feel tonight. What kind of a start to the week have you had? How have the last few days been? And how has all that left you feeling right now? Perhaps you're coping really well and you feel energized and in control and positive. Or perhaps there may be some challenges going on. Maybe you're feeling a little tired or depleted. And this process of cultivating the witness and noticing how you feel, as I say almost every week, is all about getting out of the habit of making a judgment. I should feel this, I should feel that, I should do this in my yoga practice, I should do that. None of that is relevant. It's just about knowing who we are and what we're feeling at this moment, in any given moment. That is really the essence of mindfulness. And then begin to connect to your main tool of moving yourself from wherever you are to an even more positive place by tuning into the breath and trying to do all your breathing in and out through the nose unless the nose is blocked. So just try out your breath. Take a couple of breaths, maybe nice deep inhale through the nose and a couple of long sighs out through the mouth. Let the shoulders drop as you sigh the breath out, and one more time. And then allow the mouth to softly close, breathing in and out through the nose and beginning to find an equal length inhale and exhale. Not being in any rush, just take a nice easy inhale and allow that to transition to an easy exhale. Feel that tiny bit of effort to draw the breath in, to create the space in your body for your inspiration. And the exhale, letting it go in a really mindful, gentle, and smooth way. And then each time you inhale and exhale, aiming to develop the quality, the subtlety of that experience until you have a real sensation of equal breath flowing in and equal breath flowing out. So we're doing this practice all the way through. If you do find it has a particularly sleepy effect on you, which can happen, then what you can do is just slightly exaggerate the dynamic nature. So just make that inhale a little bit bigger, a little bit more of the breathing muscles involved, and the exhale a little bit longer, so that you are kind of energizing the body with a little more oxygen. If you're feeling tired and you just need that lift. Otherwise, stick with a nice easy rhythm. And then in the breath or two, allow the eyes to blink open, bring the palms together in front of the chest. And on that next equal inhale, stretching the arms wide. So just go as far as feels comfortable for you, and breathing out, bringing the palms together. This week, we're going to make this inhale phase a little more active than usual. Sometimes we're just focusing on softening the shoulders, but we're going to make this one this week a little more of an active stretch. So really expand and stretch as far away as feels comfortable for you. If you have any discomfort, any shoulder issues, make it also as soft as you need to. And if you're really doing it dynamically, at the end of that inhale, you can stretch the fingers, stretch the palms, and the arms are actually coming back. They're coming to level with the shoulders. You can even go back a little bit just to begin that process of opening the rib cage fully and exhaling the palms together. All this needs to happen without the shoulders rising up. So if you're experiencing that, just drop them down and do a more contained version. So 2 more rounds with the breath, inhaling, stretching and lengthening, exhaling, drawing the palms together. Inhale, stretching out, exhale, palms together. And between each practice, or most of the practices this evening, we'll just be taking a micro moment to notice, to reflect on how each practice is making us feel, or what its effect is on the mind, whether it's creating thoughts or agitation, or drawing you into a deeper experience of stillness. And then release the arms away from the body. Just give the shoulders a little shrug now. Give the arms a little shake. And then just keeping an eye on the shoulders, not allowing them to rise at all. Just inhale, bring the arms up to about level with the shoulders, turn the palms, and exhale, release. And try and have a moment at the end of that exhale, the arms just hang, and the heaviness of the arms feels as if it's drawing the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then each time we inhale, you're invited to go a little bit higher if you want to. And again, that is going to be dictated by the amount of tension in your shoulders, or whether you have anything going on in your shoulders. And it might be if you had a problem in the right shoulder, you would just do this on the left side, that would be fine. If you're having no problems at all, you're going to keep exploring until you find the maximum range of stretch as the arms float up on inhale, as long as those shoulders are not rising up and softening on every exhale. And we're going to do one more. And for those who want to, this time you can go to your maximum, and then you can let the shoulders come up a little bit just to feel that fullness of lengthening from the hips up through the torso, right through to the fingertips. Take an extra breath there, and then turn the palms and exhale, release, and lift and roll the shoulders. And then if we take the palms out, bring the fingertips to the tops of the shoulders, and we'll do elbow circling that we often do to get a lovely lot of mobility into the shoulders. And this time they will be moving up and down, moving forward, moving back. And you're circling as wide as you can, inhaling for half a circle, exhaling for the other half. And once more. And release. So now we're going to take the right arm up. So turn the palm out and breathe in. So you could just come to here. We're going to go into a side bend. If you have no shoulder problems and you're enjoying the stretching, then breathe in, reach all the way up. I've got my other hand holding the side of the chair just for a little bit of stability, because I don't want you to go very far. I just want you to exhale into that stretch, and then take one inhale, breathing into the stretched outside of the lungs, feeling the space between each ribs. And then turn the palm and exhale. Lower that arm down. Give the shoulders a shrug. Turn the left hand out, breathing in. Here, here, anywhere that's good for you. And exhale into the side stretch. Breathe in to the open side of the chest. Exhale. And inhale, coming up, turn the palm, and exhale, release. Give the shoulders another shrug. And then what we did last week, we're going to breathe in and come into this cactus arms position. And some of you are going to draw the elbows back just to get a little bit more back bend. But again, if the shoulders rise up or it feels uncomfortable, here is absolutely fine. And then the exhale, the hands come down onto the thighs, and then use the arms to lower the upper body forwards. Breathing in, push with the hands to come up. Still breathing in, cactus arms. And exhale, hands down and forward fold. So this one looks very simple, but if you want to work more strongly, you really can. You really can do a lot of back bend here on this inhale if you want to. And as you exhale, you can get the hands down a little more quickly and really reach out of the hips, tuck the chin in, and finish the exhale by tucking the chin in and letting the crown of the head, the weight of the head, release forwards. As you come up, just bring the head back up in line with the rest of the spine and breathing in, coming up. I'm just going to do a couple more at your own pace, following your breath and really noticing, witnessing, reflecting on your experience of this practice. And then our last one, we're going to hold the forward bend position. If you need to take the knees a little bit wider, please do. The arms may still be working there to support the weight of the upper body, or you may get yourself in a position where you can really release the weight of the torso forward towards the thighs. You can let the head hang. You can feel that lovely stretch and space coming into the back of the neck. And allow yourself to take a few breaths in that forward bend. And perhaps you'll find that as you do your exhale, you experience a little bit of softening and release, particularly in the lower back. So that process of cultivating self-reflection and the witness, it's all your own work. All I do is facilitate an experience and try to offer suggestions as to things that you may experience. And if it's not happening for you, that means nothing. It just means it's not happening for you. And other times it may absolutely be what you're experiencing. But it's more about those cues, cultivating this attitude of self-inquiry, self-reflection, and that is where the mindfulness comes from, that we're going to use and take out into the world in our improved social connection. So on the next inhale, bring the head up and then the spine, and then just release the hands, either let them hang, or if you've got the right kind of chair, you might even like to grab the sides of the chair, draw these shoulders back and down, and just do a little bit of opening the upper back. So shoulders are coming back, the breastbone here, the sternum is coming forwards, the head is not really doing anything, staying nice and neutral, and we're making sure we're not doing everything in the lower back, particularly if you have any tendency to get discomfort there. As you breathe, try to breathe into this space because it's being stretched. That can feel like it takes a little bit of effort. There's also a nice sensation of space here. And as you exhale, see if you can just soften the spine and allow it to dissolve a little bit more deeply into this gentle back bend. Lovely. And then release the hands forward, give the shoulders a shrug. So the last thing we're going to do in the chair this week is a slightly different twist to the one we do normally. So I'm going to ask you, if you're in a chair, to turn sideways so that you can turn and hold the back of the chair. If you're on a mat, it's fine. You can do this from cross-legged or legs straight. Again, you may need to support the hips to avoid the back rounding. We always want a lovely straight axis to do our rotation around. So I'm going to turn to the right, and I'm just going to do a 3/4 twist around to the right. And then we're going to develop that twist over 5 breaths. So breathing in, I'm going to feel as if I'm lengthening up to the crown of the head, and breathing out, I'm going to turn the shoulders just a little bit more and turn the head as far around as I can. Next inhale, stay where you are. Breathe up, lengthen a little bit more, and try to turn around in that clockwise direction a tiny bit more. So it's only going to be a millimeter, maybe more twist each time you exhale, but you're developing that twist from within the twist itself. And when you exhale for the 5th time, don't be in a rush to release from the twist. Keep the shoulders where they are, and gently and mindfully turn the head as far around back towards the center of the room as you can. And just take an extra couple of breaths here with the shoulders and the head trying to turn in opposite directions. And then breathing in, coming back round to the front, just exhaling down the midline of the spine to reset before we scoot ourselves round to the other side. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, take your first twist. And then 4 more. Inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, turning the body, turning the head as far around to the left. Developing that twist just a tiny little bit on each exhalation. And using the inhale just to try and find that little bit more space by the height, the lengthening up. Very good. And at the end of that 5th breath, keep the shoulders where they are, turn the head back into the room, and take 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready to release, coming forwards and taking a little bow forwards. Twist can be a really good thing to do if you're feeling a little bit knotted up, either on that physical level, digestion's a bit sluggish, or even on the emotional level. And just see what happens if you do a little yoga practice with lots of twists in, how that makes you feel. Have a reflect on that, and maybe take a moment now just to notice whether the twisting movements have had an effect on the body, on the mind. We're going to transition now to either coming onto the mat or working in the chair. And our first practice is for the pelvic floor and the core of the body. So if you're working in the chair, you're going to make sure the feet are really firmly grounded onto the mat, onto the floor. Raise the feet on the block if you need to, hands resting on the thighs. Breathing in normally, and as you breathe out, you're going to squeeze and tighten the muscles of the hips And if you're able to isolate the muscles of the pelvic floor, feel as if you're drawing those up as well. And we can do that from lying on the mat in semi-supine. And it's pretty much exactly the same, except that that experience of tightening the pelvis, of drawing up the pelvic floor, will also involve and more of a sensation that we're working our abdominal muscles. So as you exhale, feel as if you're squeezing the lower back down towards the mat beneath you. And as you breathe in, you can rest the hands on the belly if you wish. As you breathe in, let that area soften. And as you breathe out, squeeze, tighten, draw up. So it's particularly effective to do this practice if you can lie down or do it in bed or anywhere where the spine is out of gravity. There isn't the weight of your body going down towards the pelvis and the pelvic floor. Those muscles find it much easier to contract and become toned and awakened when we're out of gravity. So try that. It's a subtle practice, but it's actually very important for a number of different health conditions that can affect people as they get older. So we're going to move on now to maintaining just a little bit of what we had going on in that last practice. So feel as if the lower back is now just very subtly lengthened and flattening towards the floor if you're on the mat. And as you breathe in, you're going to take the right arm overhead and you're going to bend in the left leg and stretch the left leg up towards the ceiling. So we're doing a little bit of cross crawling, and exhale, right arm, left leg down. Next inhale, left arm and right leg. Exhale. And as you're doing that, try to be so reflective and so tuned into your body that you're aware that the lower back is very, very still, that it's not moving around, it's not arching as you do that practice. It's exactly the same in the chair. And we'll do a couple more rounds, just working with your equal breath and noticing exactly how you feel as you perfectly coordinate your body with your breath, and ideally letting the breath lead your practice. And then the next time you do the left arm and the right leg, make that the last one. And grab hold of your belt. So we very often do a hamstring stretch at this point, and we are going to do that. But we're also going to do a little bit of hip opening. So the way this will work is that the bent leg will be the neutral position. So this is inhale position. And then we'll exhale to straighten the leg to stretch the hamstring. And then we'll inhale back to neutral. And then we'll exhale to draw the knee in towards the body. So for some people, you might find the belt inconvenient, or you might need to go down towards the foot a little bit more for that second phase. If you've got a knee problem, you might just want to let that lower leg be free and draw the thigh in with the hands. Inhale, exhale into the hamstring. Inhale and exhale into the hip. So just work at your own pace. If you're used to working more strongly, you can do this practice with the left leg straight. It's going to make both the hamstring stretch and the hip opening work a little bit stronger. So it needs to feel appropriate for you. And it's absolutely fine to carry on with the other leg bent. But exactly the same practice in the chair, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. And do 2 more rounds of this, following your breath. And again, try to tune yourself in so that you are utterly focused on witnessing the sensations in your body, the sensations of your breath as you practice. And then the next time you come into the stretch, we're just going to hold that right leg stretch for a couple of breaths. If you're lying on the floor, you might be able to track that leg in a little bit. If you're in the chair, use the belt to lift the leg a tiny bit higher. Don't overdo that. Don't feel discomfort or trembling in the back of that right thigh. And then on an inhale, bend the knee. And then on an exhale, we're going to hold the hip opening position. So however you want to do that, using the belt, using the hands around the shin, around the thigh, drawing that thigh in. And we're almost done with this right leg, but the last thing we're going to do is just take the right hand around the kneecap, around the top of the shin, and finish this work with a little bit of circling into that right hip. So we worked quite deeply into what is essentially an upside down lunge position. But now we're letting that joint really express its full range of motion. Around about now, just using the hand on the same knee to circle in the opposite direction. And then take that right leg down, slide both legs straight or just sitting naturally in the chair if you're in the chair, and take a moment, perhaps with the eyes closed if you're comfortable, noticing, witnessing the sensation in the right leg and the right hip compared with the left leg and the left hip. And then we're going to come back into semi-supine, take the belt around the left foot and repeat that sequence on the left side. And we're going to give far fewer cues this time to really give you a little bit more opportunity to reflect and witness the sensations in your own body. Just a reminder though, breathing in here, breathing out into the stretch, breathing in here, breathing out into the hip opener. Right leg is bent or straight. And in the next breath or two, moving into holding that left leg stretch. And then breathing in, releasing it, and coming into whichever version of the hip opening position is comfortable for you. And then release from that and circling into the left hip. And then release. If you're lying on the mat, slide both legs straight. And again, just experience and reflect on the sensations in the right leg and left leg, the right hip and the left hip. Lovely. We're almost done. We're going to do one more practice, then do a little cat and dog up to standing, and we're going to do a couple of standing poses tonight, a couple of warrior poses, leading us into our sun salutations and then our balance. So if you're working in the chair, you can do your back bend by either resting the hands here or on the thighs. We're going to be breathing in and opening the chest, and breathing out, releasing back into neutral. If you want to do a similar arm movement that I'm going to show in a second for those on the mat, they'll be taking the arms overhead, but it's a lot more tiring to lift the arms up into the air. So hence you have this choice of here or here rather than in the air. Those on the mat, remove anything that's under the back of the head. Reconnect with that sense of stillness in the lower abdomen. The lower back is nicely resting on the floor. The feet are hip width apart. The head is neutral. And breathing in, both arms going as far overhead as is comfortable for you, and the hips floating up. And exhale, rolling down the spine. Each time you breathe in, just feeling that you're going a little bit deeper into the back bend. And this practice, although it is classed as a back bend, is really helping to activate the thigh muscles, particularly the quads, the front thigh muscles. It's activating the core. It's encouraging a lot of movement between each of the vertebrae of the spine, particularly on that exhale as you softly roll the spine back down onto the mat, or in a chair, just rolling out of the back bend and back to a neutral position. And again, just for those who are more experienced, want a slightly stronger challenge, feel free, whichever place you're working from, to come in and just hold the back bend for 2 or 3 breaths. So this time, if you're working on the mat and you're lifting the body off the floor, the core, the thigh muscles are going to be working quite hard to maintain that form. Notice if you're doing that, how that feels. Witness the sensations in your body. And then round about now, on an exhale, releasing out. And if you're sitting in the chair, just softly folding forward over the thighs. And if you are on the mat, drawing the knees in and taking a little rock from side to side. So we're going to do a transition now to the cat, which has got a very similar movement in the spine to the one we just did. And just as we did last week, you can do the cat either with the hands on the floor in front of the shoulders to be kind to the wrists, inhaling and exhaling, or you can use the chair to take the weight out of the wrists of the shoulders. And if you have knee problems but are able to stand comfortably, then using the back of the chair to breathe in and breathe out will be a great way to do it. If you have to do it in the chair, that's also fine. And it will just be an extension from the last practice, where on the exhale, you're drawing in the tummy muscles, drawing up the pelvic floor, the hip muscles, and making the spine a little more rounded on the exhalation. Just have to be slightly more aware of the sensations in the spine if you're doing it in an upright position, again, because of the weight of the body pressing down through the spine there. And then after the next breath or two, we will transition to a downward dog. And again, you might be used to doing this from the mat and be really comfortable in tucking the toes and exhaling, head down, hips high, and breathing in, lowering down, and doing 2 or 3 of those, and then perhaps holding the downward dog if that suits you. Or you can use the chair, which provides a really excellent way of doing this pose without any weight through the shoulders and without any contact for the knees to the floor. And whichever position you find yourself in, just try to go within a little bit, either when you're holding the downward dog or during the exhale when you're in the downward dog, and try to sense exactly what is happening at a very microscopic level. A sensation of space between each vertebra, the lengthening of the spine, the lifting of the sit bones. Don't overhold the pose. Anytime you need to come down, if you're holding it, just take the knees down, take the pose of the child. If you're doing it from standing, just come back to standing. If you've been doing it in a chair, softly folding forwards. So we're going to come now into our Warrior 1, Warrior 2 and Sun Salutation sequence, which are all going to be slightly dynamic breath and movement. So many of you may be able to come out of the chair for this, and if you've been in the chair, and use the back of the chair as a support. But I'm going to show you a chair option for those who need to stay in it. If you've got knee problems and bending the knee and flexing it with the breath is a problem, you can just maintain straight legs and do the upper body movement. So the chair can be there as a support if needed. The right foot is stepped forward, the left foot is stepped back, and the left foot is hardly turned out. You can just see how much of the side of my foot is visible there, rather than that, which is turning the foot out. So really turn that back foot in. It's going to make it a little more balancy, so make sure those feet stay hip width apart, and then just have a practice of breathing in, bending the knee over the ankle, but no further than that, and breathing out, straightening the leg. So that is the leg part. If you're able to release your hands from the chair, palms are together, and then breathing in, drawing the elbows back, opening the heart, breathing out, straightening the leg. And then begin to grow into this practice over a few repetitions. What we want to begin to feel is a sense of space right through the front of the body, from the feet right up to the crown of the head. The whole of the front of the body is lengthening up, particularly through the side of the body where the leg is stepped back. Make it easy and breath-led, but at the same time, allow the space, allow the sensations to arise. Notice exactly what you're feeling as you practice Warrior One. Let's just make the next one the last one. As you come back to palms together, step the feet together, let the arms hang for a moment. Take a second just to reflect on that practice. And then step the left leg forward, right leg back. And again, working either just the arms or the arms and the leg. Inhale and exhale in your own time. Those working from a chair, right leg is forward and central, left knee is off to the side. Hands are doing the same as the people who are standing. And then when the palms next come together, step the leg back. If you're standing, just take a moment in mountain pose. And then we'll move on to Warrior Two, which works a completely different set of muscles and joints. Just show the chair option first this time, where the knee is coming much more open to try and get a sense of opening in the hips. This can be tricky if you've got sides on your chair. And this time the gaze is forward, and as you breathe in, you can extend the arms and turn the head and exhale, coming back. If you're working from standing, you may or may not need the support of the chair. You're going to step the feet a little bit wider, and you're going to work the leg that is away from the wall or the chair support. So keep the standing leg near the chair neutral, toes are outside of the foot is level, or even toes slightly tucked in, and then really activate the legs. Feel like you're gluing the soles of the feet to the mat. And then you're going to bend, in my case, the right leg, the leg away from the support, and just turn it out about 70 degrees. And you just need to have a quick check so that when you bend your knee, that the knee is going in exactly the same direction as the foot. You don't want to have turned the foot too far and the knees coming on the inside. That's a bit of a misalignment and not good. Again, knee problems, you can do this by keeping the legs straight. Otherwise, we're going to breathe in and breathe out. So turning the head, extending the arms, releasing the shoulders, and taking an easy aligned lunge into the knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, return to center. Notice the difference between this and the last practice. Perhaps you can reflect on the stretch down the inside of the straight leg. Perhaps you can feel the extra hip opening in the leg that has turned out and is moving in and out of the lunge. And as you turn the head and keep the shoulders relaxed, Notice the fluidity or not of that head and neck movement. And then when the palms come together again, straighten the leg, turn the foot in, just move the feet towards each other and give the arms and legs a little shake. Come back to center. Bring the knees together if you're in the chair. And then when you're ready, we'll do exactly the same on the other side. And again, I'll just give fewer cues this time, so you can really go within and witness your own practice. So keeping this leg near the chair or the wall strong, bending the knee, opening the hip, finding a little bit of lunge where the knee is tracking the foot. Breathing in, extend, turn the head, exhale, bring the hands together, inhale, extend, exhale, coming to center. Work with your breath. And the next time the palms come together, come into your neutral position, either sitting in the chair or standing. Just take a moment there. And we're going to flow from that straight into our sun salutations. The last couple of weeks I've always begun that from a chair. Of course, you can do it from the chair or from standing. I'm going to show and demonstrate from standing, but I think for some of you this is becoming a really familiar sequence now. So breathing in, opening the chest, breathing out, bending the knees, coming into an easy forward bend, let the head hang. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, go a little deeper, straighten and stretch the legs if you want to. Breathing in, bend the knees, coming all the way up. And breathing out, bringing the palms together. Inhale, send the hands up. Forehead is fine, or higher, or as high as you like. And exhale, side bend. Inhale, come to center. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, hands to heart. Flow on to the next one. If you're in a chair, I'm going to do one here. And continue doing up to 2 more in your own time, really inviting yourself to make this a peak experience of building that self-reflection and witness habit, allowing the breath to lead your body through the movements of the sun salutation. Probably just a breath or two into your final one now. Just take your time to move through that sequence. And when you get to the end of this final one, either sitting quietly with the eyes closed or downcast, or standing in a really comfortable mountain pose. And then we're coming into our final practice now of balancing. I'm just going to do a couple of preparatory practices. So from standing or the chair, roll the shoulders out and back, take the palms away from the body. And as you breathe in, reach up, bring the palms together overhead, and exhale, slide the hands down towards the heart, releasing the shoulders. And then on this next one, keep the heels down, but try to lift all 10 toes up off the mat as you reach up. And as you exhale, relax the toes down. Inhale, slightly shift the weight forward, lift the heels as you breathe in. As you exhale, release the heels down. I'm going to do 2 more, 1 for the toes. And 1 for the heels. Pause for a moment. Notice any sensations of enhanced grounding, stability, foot awakening. And then release the hands down. If you need the support of the chair or a wall, please have it. If you're in a chair, you're just going to be doing the arm movement and just lifting the thigh slightly in this modified heron balance. So we start off just floating the arms away on inhale and down on exhale. And then begin to add in a weight shift, lifting the heel, dropping the heel down, lifting the other heel, keeping the toes down and down. And stop at any version of this balance that feels right for you. You can come a little bit higher, so the tip of the big toe is just touching on inhale, foot down on exhale. Just want to make sure you're not going to lose your balance. And for those who can, beginning to extend to the full version of the pose, lifting and lowering the knee, keeping the lower leg absolutely relaxed as you work. carry on for a few more. For those who want the challenge, feel free to have a go at just holding that pose. Just for maybe 2 or 3 breaths. But held balances are always a big challenge, even to those of us who've been doing yoga for a long, long time. And then if you've been doing a held balance, equal up by doing it on the other leg. And if you are done, then just pause for a moment, notice how you're feeling, maybe notice that enhanced mental focus that we often get with our balancing postures. Now it's time for us to move into our mild inversion. You might just bring another chair in, rest the legs up on that. Or you'll be using the chair to support the lower legs. And if possible, just raising the hips slightly on a yoga brick or block or a cushion. And coming into a very comfortable position with the head neutral and the arms and legs relaxed. If you are comfortable closing the eyes, then use that shutting down of that sense of sight to go even deeper into noticing the quality of your mind, the quality of awareness of every sensation in your body. And then in the next breath or two, come into the position you would like to relax in, either lying on your back in the classic yoga relaxation position, or with the knees bent, or use any props, pillows, bolsters, lie on your side if you need to. Relax in a more comfortable chair if you're working from a chair. If you're sitting in a chair like this without sides, you're going to have to just use the relaxation more as a mental focus and concentration exercise, because you don't want to nod off and fall off your chair. So whatever position you're in, just take a moment to be aware of all the sensations in your body, with a focus on bringing comfort and ease. So just do a scan, a brief overall scan of the whole of your body, and notice any areas that do not yet feel comfortable and easy. No judgment, just awareness, just witnessing. And then take your awareness to your right foot and try to just wriggle the toes of the right foot a little bit. See if you can move the toes as much as possible. Let them feel soft and released. And then push the heel away, pull the foot back so that you are stretching the sole of the foot, perhaps feeling a little stretch in the back of the lower leg. And you're also trying to widen the space between the toes. So the foot is very active. And then on the next inhale, point the foot away from you and slightly squeeze the toes under as if the toes are trying to close like the fist of a hand. Breathing in, pull the toes back, stretch the back of the leg, and additionally this time tense the whole of the leg right up to the right hip. So you can feel the quad muscle engage, you can feel the hamstring stretching. And take one more deep breath here. And then as you exhale, release, soften that right leg. Give it permission to soften. And all that muscle work is replaced by a feeling of comfort and ease. Compare the right leg with the left leg. Take the focus to the right foot, the left foot, wriggling the left toes now, moving them just as much as you can. Just wriggle them around any kind of random way. Get movement there, let them feel soft and free. And then pull the foot back, stretch the heel away, spread the bones of the foot, spread the toes. Keep breathing as you stretch the foot and the lower leg. And inhaling, point the foot away from you, slightly squeeze the toes under, and then pull the toes back. And this time tense the whole of the left leg, the quad, stretch the hamstring right up to the left hip. One more, breathing in, stretch the whole of the left leg, and exhale, release, relax, soften the whole of the left leg. Bring your awareness to the hips, and as you breathe in, try to gather all the muscles of the hips and draw them close into the body. Tense the muscles at the back of the pelvis, the muscles at the front, the muscles of the pelvic floor, drawing them up. All the hips feel like all the muscles there are tightening and working. And then as you exhale, slowly release them into softness, and maybe just rock the pelvis from side to side. Focusing on the abdomen now, you can place your hands there if you find that helpful. Breathe in and allow the abdomen to be as soft as possible. Feel it swell and rise slightly as you inhale. And as you exhale, unless you have a medical reason not to engage these muscles, fairly strongly draw those muscles into the body, back towards the spine. Inhale, relax them into softness. Exhale, draw the muscles in. One more, inhale into softness. Exhale, draw the muscles in. And then allow the belly to be as soft as possible. Notice the movement created by your breath in your abdomen. Shift your awareness up to the rib cage, right up to the collarbones. And as you breathe in, try to lift and widen the ribs a little bit more than usual, a little bit deeper breathing than usual, so that there's a slight sense of stretch between each of the ribs. And as you exhale, exaggerate the exhale, allow the ribs to soften as they sink back down. 2 more times. Inhale, expand and stretch. Exhale, soften, release. Inhale. Exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the right hand, move the fingers and the thumb of the right hand. Stretch the palm, stretch the fingers, widen the fingers as much as you can. Exhale, make a soft fist. And inhale, stretch the arm away from the shoulder, tense all the muscles of the right arm. And exhale, allow it to soften and release. Soft shoulder, soft elbow, soft wrist, soft fingers and thumb and palm. Awareness to the left hand. Move the fingers and thumb of the left hand, just wriggle them around. Inhale, stretch the palms, spread the fingers. Release. Inhale, make a soft fist. Inhale, stretch the palm once more, stretch all the way up to the shoulder, tense the muscles of the left arm, and exhale, soften and release. Awareness to the neck and the head. Slightly tuck the chin in, lift the crown of the head. If you're in a chair, lifting it towards the ceiling, otherwise just lengthening away from the shoulders. And as you breathe out, softly roll the head to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, squeeze and activate the muscles around the forehead and the eye. Just screw up the eye slightly. Inhale, soften and release. Wriggle the jaw. Let the tongue lie softly in the mouth. And allow the whole of the head and the neck to soften and release. Take a moment now to rescan the whole of your body, inviting the whole of your body to continue to move towards a deeper and deeper experience of softness and release. Allow your breath to be in its own natural rhythm. And allow your exhalation to sweep away any remaining tension that you experience in the body, or any agitation or disruption that you experience in the mind. And now allow your breath to deepen and bring movement back into your body in any way that feels good. If you're lying with the legs straight, bend the knees, roll onto your side. And in a breath or two, make your way back up to sitting either on the mat or in the chair. Just invite you to just keep the eyes closed or downcast for a moment longer. This is a short reading from Stillness Speaks by Eckhart Tolle. And the name of this reading is The Human Condition is to be Lost in Thought. Most people spend their entire life imprisoned within the confines of their own thoughts. They never go beyond a narrow, mind-made, personalized sense of self that is conditioned by the past. In you, as in each human being, there is a dimension of consciousness far deeper than thought. It is the very essence of who you are. We may call it presence, awareness, the unconditioned consciousness. In the ancient teachings, it is the Christ within, or your Buddha nature. Finding that dimension frees you and the world from the suffering you inflict on yourself and on others when the mind state, the little me, is all you know and runs your life. Love, joy, creative expansion, and lasting inner peace cannot come into your life except through that unconditioned dimension of consciousness. If you can recognize even occasionally the thoughts that go through your mind as simply thoughts, if you can witness your own mental, emotional, reactive patterns as they happen, then that dimension is already emerging in you as the awareness in which thoughts and emotions happen, the timeless inner space in which the content of your life unfolds. Whenever you're ready, feel free just to take a slightly deeper breath, to blink open the eyes. And thank you again for joining me for the class.